Hi, Kobe Pennington, Casalock. Today we're talking about Controlled Unclassified Information, or CUI. CUI is a category of government information that requires protection, safeguarding, according to law and regulation or policy. CUI has been around for a long time in concept, though many agencies are just now starting to get their programs around CUI defined. Because of the delays in getting these programs out, there's been a lot of confusion over what information in my environment as a supplier or a contractor within the defense industrial base is actually CUI. Hopefully, this will become more clear as DoD and other agencies implement their CUI programs. The DoD program is managed and maintained by the DCSA, and they are starting to implement several different resources to help answer these questions. In addition, in DoDI 5248, which is DoD instruction, there is a lot of clarification provided to contractors. The piece that is important is consistent application of CUI by government in labeling and marking the documents that are going to be CUI, and making sure that it's clear in contract documentation which documents are actually CUI. The reason to safeguard CUI is because the U.S. is really dependent on a commercial industrial base to power their defense operations, and this provides them with the capability to really benefit from innovation and power of commercial industry. But at the same time, adversaries such as China are able to use information that they're able to steal from the industrial base to really implement nearly the same capabilities and technologies, and are able to shortcut the process by not doing that research and development themselves. So this has several impacts both to the economy and also to the capabilities, security, and safety of defense operations across the globe. So the purpose of CUI was essentially to be consistent across different types of categories of unclassified information, and CUI is replacing FOUO, SBU, for example. A CUI is made up of several different categories of information as defined by NARA and DoD, and these are categories of information. This could be vulnerability information, controlled technical information, defense information, including export control, financial information, intelligence, and so on. Now, whether or not these data types in our organization are CUI really depends on the contract documentation from U.S. government or that's passed along to us by a prime contractor. So, should we just check the information that we have to see if it aligns with these categories of CUI using the CUI registries? Well, kind of. We definitely need to be aware of the types of data that we're receiving or that we're generating as part of a government contract, and whether or not we're supposed to treat that data as CUI. Just because we have types of data that are CUI categories, if this is internal information or not part of a government contract, then this may not be, and likely is not CUI. So CUI is a government category of data. So however, by knowing the types of categories of data when we're engaged with government contracts or subcontract work, when we see data that aligns with these CUI categories on the registry, then we know that if we're unclear about whether that's CUI or not, we need to contact our contract representative. Once we found the CUI that's in our environment or that we're working on or generating on behalf of contract performance, then safeguarding that data, of course, falls under the DFARS 252.204/7012 clause, which uses NIST 800-171 to lay out the controls for how we protect and safeguard that. To implement those controls, we need to pay a special attention to NIST 800-171A, which is the assessment guideline, which is really a critical document that tells us how to assess and evaluate those controls. Just looking at the control by itself may cause us to miss an important step that we need to apply to safeguard that data according to the standards, and this is what future CMMC assessments would focus on. If you're looking for help understanding what CUI you have in your environment, what steps you need to take to fully safeguard that information, and to be compliant with existing DFARS clauses, or preparing for CMMC certification, Castle Lock is certainly available to help. We have expertise with different size companies in the defense industrial base. We've been through the DCMA audits for high assurance and have helped our customers achieve high scores in this area. So reach out to us if we can be of any help. Thanks. See ya.